So many years ago, oh, my hair. many years ago, wow, I can't believe how glossy it is. Many years ago, I was working for a company called Laidlaw. And as you may know, I don't keep my hobby a secret. And so many people at Laidlaw, because I was actually doing shows back then too, many people at Laidlaw knew that I like Lego. And one of my friends at Laidlaw came to me one day with 2 box sets that he had since he was a kid. He was slightly younger than me, but he had 2 box sets. And he says, "Dave, do you want them?" And I go, "How much?" And he goes, "Free." And I go, "What are you talking about?" he goes, "I just want them in the house." And my friend was a little bit OCD. He was very meticulous in the way he did things. Everything was neat and tidy around his desk, which is odd for me because my desk is usually a disaster. But he was also very good at report building, and everything was perfect and spelled correctly and laid out wonderfully. So he was a little bit OCD, a little bit meticulous, and I adored him for it. So I wasn't surprised when I got the sets from him that the sets themselves were also meticulously taken care of. Now, he gave me 2 sets, and I honestly can't remember what the other one was right now. It was a universal building set just like this, but I think it was like a single digit now, 2, 4, 6, or 8. I remember it being bigger than this box. So, but I think I didn't want to keep that big box, so I sorted all those pieces out into my collection at the time. And this one, because the box was a really pristine condition, was being the operative word, I kept it together, and I had put it in storage in this very room with my other boxes. But then, of course, I started running out of space, so the first thing that went into the garage was boxes, because I'd rather have Lego in my room than boxes in my room. But I kept the box, and I took part of the shelving that I built in the garage for storage for all our camping stuff and other things, the back corner somewhere of the garage, and I stored some boxes there. Little did I know, and those have been out there for quite some time, little did I know, we did a roofing job in this complex 3 or 4 years ago. And over top of the garage is the eaves trough coming down from the 2nd story, and they have the holder to secure the thing that holds the eaves trough from blowing around on the roof, hammered into the actual roof. And I'm thinking that's leaking. It's a very small leak. But when I was cleaning out the garage today, I noticed there was a water stain on the bottom of the plywood from one specific area, and going down to a specific spot halfway down the plywood, and then right below that was this box. And you can see this box has a water stain all the way down the side here, and that's just sad. It really is. And but again, not a huge thing for me. I was like, "Oh no, the box is ruined." I'm not like comic book guy. Oh, you cannot take it in the package. It's not in the package anymore. It's like comic book guy from The Simpsons, like one of my favorite characters ever, because Aquaman cannot marry Wonder Woman. So this box is now water damaged and is no longer mint. And so, oh well, guess what I'm going to be doing with this box? I'm going camping in 2 weeks. So this box is coming with me, and so this is going to be fire starter. So start your crying now. It's going to be fire starter. And the box is ruined. It really is. And thankfully, this one took the hit, and the boxes underneath it did not take the hit. Now I moved those boxes until I get the roof fixed. Because I still have like one Bionicle box out there. The Creator 3-in-1 Dragon is there. And I got 3 copies of these 002 or 001 gears from early 70s. But this one is going to be my fire starter in a couple weeks. But since I'm throwing it out anyway, set number 30, right there. This will be set number 112, I believe, for you guys in the States. But you guys have a really odd numbering way of numbering things. Canada always had it right. You guys have to catch up to Canada. Of course, now they're all numbered the same throughout the world. But so that's going. Bye-bye, boss. And just in case, while we're talking about burning boxes, I still have it. I haven't burnt it yet. I still have one left. But anyway, and of course the inner tray, which I just dumped the pieces out here before the video started. The inner tray recycling bin, because nobody wants this. Nobody I know wants this. So you can see the water was pulling up in there. So that's going to the recycling. And these are the pieces that were in it. And the pieces don't match 100% what was supposed to be in the box, because there's only 3 maxi figs here, and there's supposed to be 4. There's supposed to be a dad, but there's not. So obviously my friend with the 2 Universal Basic sets mixed up the pieces. They probably just, you know, dumped them back in the boxes. No, but because my friend's OCD, like these pieces, I'm just gonna show you this. They're mint. They're honestly mint. Even the 2x8, the 4x8 plates, just nice and glossy for the era. 1976 is which when that set came out. Just like he said, he played with them, but I'm looking at them and I'm going, not the way we used to play with ours. So, because I think honestly, what I'm gonna say this, what killed our bricks, if I want to use the word killed because I still have them here. What killed our bricks is that we had a big cardboard box for the longest time. And then we had 2 cardboard boxes for the longest time. And then I can't remember what we ended up having when Brian and Terry gave it up. But all our pieces were dumped onto the floor in the basement. We had a concrete floor in the basement. Well, that's going to scratch bricks straight up. But you're 7, 8, 10 years old. You're not really understanding that. And then you're moving around on the concrete floor. Of course, that's sandpaper. so I would say sober second thought, and had I been the fan I am now, obviously at 6, which I couldn't be, I would have not done that. So I think what saved most of our pieces from getting really cremated is when we got older, we started doing a building on top of the pool table with the felt, just like this, the nice felt here. Well, this isn't felt, this is just a sheet. But when we were really young, yes, our basement was just a concrete floor, like it was like any other basement back in the 70s. It wasn't fully finished, and we did not have a shag carpet. My dad absolutely would not have a shag carpet now. So it was on top of the concrete floor. It was very rare that we had the Lego upstairs in the living room where we had carpet, because again, we didn't want to get underfoot. So it was, it is what it is. And so, but our pieces weren't too bad. I remember that because of course that's the start of my collection. And when I started buying my own sets back when I was 14 or 15, it got mixed in with those sets, those pieces. And so, and I can't complain, but these pieces from 1976, thick walled, injection molding on the side, very, very, very good. Even the glass on the window, you can see through it, like it's perfect. There's hardly any scratches. And what's really cool about this is we have 1x1 round bricks with studs on top, solid studs on top, and I found 3 of them so far. So red, black, blue, and yellow, white. And one of my favorite pieces from nostalgic reasons only, 2x2 brick white with the wheel, because most of mine when I was growing up were 2x2 black bricks with wheel, and white wheel with the smooth. I think white only came with the smooth rubber on it. I don't think any of it came with the rough rubber on it, the corrugated rubber on it. But this is just 1970s right here. And so what I am going to do, because these pieces are very, very good condition, I am going to start replacing my pieces over there. So I'm going to like gather up like 5 2x4 reds, and then take 5 old crappy 2x4 reds out of my bin and put those into this big huge tote of overflow. The rest of the pieces, like the roof pieces, I keep all roof pieces, and inverted slopes, which I did run out of a lot. So having an inverted slope is great. Even the trans clear is not even yellowed, which is always really cool to see a pure trans clear 2x4 brick without any kind of like yellowing to it. I mean, and scratches on the side. Like this is very, very glossy. So I'm happy with this lot, and because the box is ruined, it's going to be sorted into the collection now. I really can't complain about that. So one less box for me to have to worry about. And you know me and boxes, like whatever. What also was in there was the wrong magazine, the wrong brochure for the era. The set came out in 1976. This is 1983. So I don't know if I just stuffed it in here when I was cleaning my room one time, because I don't even remember brochures coming out in 1976. That could be wrong. They probably was, but I don't remember them at all. But let's just go through this one. because I have it here. Duplo is around, but I think this is the old logo and not the newer one that came out after that. But here we go, Fabuland. I love Fabuland. I didn't get too many sets, and I only got them used, but I loved Fabuland. And then we get into the basic sets. I got 1983. Let me hit that. 1983, I wasn't buying basic universal building sets because in 1983, my parents had already stopped buying me Lego. My parents stopped buying me Lego in 1980. So I started buying my own. So I know I wanted either a 722 or 733. I remember that, but I already had the 105 or 103, the 4.5 voter set that I got myself. But we get to this page, which is the best page in the entire book, honest. Because I love and it's in the center book too. So you got the big nice spread of the diorama here, with all my almost all my favorite sets. Because there is a 918 in the picture, even though there's no 918 to buy on this page. Because everything on this page is a 4-digit set, except for the landing pads and the crater plates. But everything else on here is a 4 digits. Wait, I'll take that back. The 891 two-man scooter is on this page in 1983. But we just did that video I showed you where I found that I got a geological inspection 6821, and I got what they call a tracking vehicle. We know it's the all-terrain vehicle 6927. I just built that, and added a lot, and 6822 space digger right there. But again, so let's go back to my second Christmas of Classic Space, my last year of getting Christmas presents from my parents of Lego. I got the 6890, I got the 6880, I got the 6970, and the 69842. Those are the 4 sets that I got that year. And never got a set again from my parents, which is fine, because I bought the Beta 1 6970, and I bought the 6980 off the store shelf. I bought I didn't buy a 6950, and I did not want to buy a 6929, the Starfleet Voyager, which is not called that. It's called the Transport Spacecraft. I don't get these names in here. But the Starfleet Voyager, I did not buy off the store shelf. I didn't like it. I honestly didn't like it. I thought it was an odd-looking ship compared to the 918, 924, 928. So I did not buy the Starfleet Voyager. And it wasn't until years later that I started getting it in lots that I finally built it and going, wow, this is an awesome set. So anyway, but every other set, except for the Space Supply Station, I already had before the 80s were over. Every one of these, I had 6950, a couple copies of that because of, again, the ad in the paper. I had a Starfleet Voyager by the end of the decade. I had a lot of two-man scooters. And of course, I remember buying these in the store for Lego Wars. The crater plates, I did not have a crater plates. I did not buy this 308 or the 306, but I got those in the used lots. So that was fun. What else do we have in here? We have Town, whatever. So, I did have this one, the police station, but I got it in the used lot. The Yellow Castle's still in this magazine. This is 1983, and the Yellow Castle had been out since 1978, if I remember correctly. And I had, again, by a lot that had the Yellow Castle. And then I got like 3 or 4 copies of it, or at least 3 copies of it now. Let's see, go to the next page. Then we have the minifig lots there, the firefighters, the policemen, the spacemen, the town figures, and the knights. And then we get in the train, which I was not into at all back then, but I started again with the used lots. I got the gray and rails. And then the Technic. I actually bought the 8844 from the store. I remember buying it because I had the go-kart and a few other Technic pieces with the C-size battery box and the little 4.5 volt motors. I bought that because I thought it was cool. And then we got the expansion packs, the accessory kits, which were awesome that day, but I hardly got any of them. Especially the 843. Now I think the 843 is the 48 by 48. Before the 1980s, it was a 50 by 50, and I still have 1 or 2 copies now because I gave them all to a friend years ago. I had 7 or 8. But 843, I think, is the the 48 by 48. But also the very last thing, the 781 storage case right there. I keep on getting these from used lots, and I actually have 2 right now up on Facebook Marketplace. So tell your friends if they want one, they can get it off me. I'm asking 20 bucks just to get it out of the house. And then the Lego Club. I was a member of the Lego Club even when I was a kid. I thought that was awesome. I used to get I think it was 4 times a year. I think it says 4 times a year. I would get that in the mail, and they gave you an iron-on to put on your shirt, and I did that too. I was a Lego Club member. The important thing is, not gonna grab the box, I'll just do it here. The very important thing, right down here, Canadian registered trademark of Intralego, Samsonite, Stratford, Canada, right there, Stratford, Canada. I got the tour, and I'm not going to go into details because you've already heard it, but I got to go have a tour of Stratford, Canada after making Lego Wars, and saw Lego being produced at Stratford. This is right before Lego bought the contract back off of Samsonite, and they moved their facilities to Newmarket. They had commissioned a huge and again, I could be wrong on this, but I could swear that I was in a 404 one day after this, and there was a huge building with the Lego logo on the side, and then they closed the factory facilities, and they just had a head office, and they produced all the Lego out of either Enfield, Connecticut, or Denmark back in the day. But I could have sworn there was an actual factory producing Lego in Newmarket, but I could be wrong on that. But I did get to see the one in Stratford before they closed it, and that was not my most fantastic moment of my hobby with Lego, but it's right up there. Honest to goodness, having a tour of the place and watching Lego actually being built, and having the guys on the line come off the line and tell me that they loved the movie that I sent over there. It was a highlight. Honest to goodness, it was a highlight of my time with the Lego hobby, and that was my bigger highlights since then are all personal with close and dear friends. My friend Janie, my friend Jeff, and even doing these videos with my virtual friends like you guys. That means now a lot more to me than the tour I got of the Lego company, because that was just nice and it was awesome. But I like relationships more than touring something. So my hobby with Lego is now more a personal thing, where I really am excited and passionate about the people I know and the people I communicate with and make these videos for and do shows with. I like the personal stuff better than, hey, look, I got to have a tour of the company. I'm not knocking it, because I'll tell you, it was a fantastic point in my life, and you can't compare the two. You can't say one was better than the other. It's just a completely different dynamic. To this day, Jackie E. Chessman, the senior marketing manager of Lego Canada, working out of Stratford, I remember the conversation with him like it's vivid in my memory, sitting in his office as the senior marketing president, VP of marketing for Lego Canada at the time, before Lego bought back the contract, and his joy of making the brick and talking to me about my movie and this beautiful conversation, and he was just so excited to give me a tour. Like that was a joy. And so that was a relationship already, and we had a mutual love of the brick, and it was awesome. And so not the tour itself, but Jack's enthusiasm, the people who were on the lines, and the people in the office that were just, oh, this is Dave, and Jack was, hey, this is Dave, this guy who made the movie, and there was, oh, this is awesome. And that, to me, that relationship was more meaningful than, hey, I got to see Lego Man. I mean, that was still cool. But anyway, I'm going off on tangents again. These pieces are mint, including the Trans Clear. I think I talked about that. The Trans Clear are just utterly fantastic. The glass is fantastic in the windows. So I am going to be, the one thing that's a little bit of a detriment is that 4x8 inch got a broken top. I'm not going to worry about that too much. I got lots of those. So I'm going to start sorting this out into piles and putting it into my collection, and we're going to go from there. I'm not sad to lose a box. I'm not sad that this is going to be fire starter in 2 weeks. Other people out there might be sad. Me not so much. So anyway, a 10 by 20 with the tubes in the bottom. This is the standard ubiquitous piece that I had lots of when I was a kid, and that's pretty cool. I'm probably gonna send this to Jeff. He can sell it if he can. That's it. That's all. So that's really unique for me. That the box got ruined in the garage, and it's fine. No love lost, and I'm good. I hope everybody out there is good. It's gonna be today's Saturday, so I'm gonna be doing this tonight, and we'll see what's going on tomorrow. And then Monday I have my surgery, but I've already, and it's gonna be minor, and I'm not gonna keep on talking about it. Like, people think I'm like concerned about it, but it's just in the back of my head, as it should be. So that's it. That's all. I want everybody out there to stay safe, take care of yourself, take care of your friends, take care of your family, the people that you love, and appreciate them for who they are. Oh, so let's go off on this tangent really quick. And I don't know where I picked this up. I think it was a Bewitched episode from years and years. Bewitched, that's how old I am. Appreciate, if you can, if they're not being demeaning, but the whole other stuff that goes with it. Appreciate other people for who they are, not what you want them to be. And this is something that I've learned growing up with my love of this hobby, and it became a little bit of an antagonism when I was in my teens, and everybody else had given it up. It wasn't too much. It wasn't overbearing, like everybody like, you're playing with Lego. But there was some comments throughout my late teens that basically faded out when I was 20 something, because like, you can't tell a 20-year-old what to do. but in my late teens, it was a small, petite point of contention with people that I was still playing with. Absolutely 100% play. I made the movie, for crying out loud. I was like 16 when I made the movie with Pete and Jake. So it's like, and then after that, walking into a store and buying Lego off the shelf at 18, 19 years old. I'm buying it for me, not my cousins, not my nephews, not kids younger than me. I'm buying it for me. I walked out of the store with a 6890 in my hand. Or 6980 in my hand. So, and a 6970 and 6971. I rode my bike across town to get to 6971. So for me, in the movie, but mostly for me. So it was considered at the time to be a little bit odd. People back then didn't have the appreciation of other people's hobbies like they do now, no matter what that hobby is. Like, people are into Warhammer 4K or whatever that is. People are into LARPing. People are into D&D now more than like mainstream. People are Lord of the Rings, like all that stuff. That back in my era, most people did not bring into their teenage years or into their early 20s. I was one of the few people in my era that continued with something that most people thought was childish. And I, quote unquote, rose above that idea, knowing that collecting stamps could be considered childish. So, and it's not, so neither should this be. So, two different mediums to be sure. But anyway, love people for who they are, as long as they're not harming anybody else. And I think my mom taught me that overall, just the way she never had a problem with this hobby, and she supported it as best she could. I mean, she doesn't buy me any more Lego, but she never tutted it and, oh, you should put it away and blah blah blah. She was never like that, and that was very nice of her. And to be said, I want to be very clear on this: the people who did tell me to put it away were not wrong for themselves to tell me to put it away. It was wrong for me to put it away because I'm not going to. Straight up, I'm not going to. I wasn't going to, and I made that abundantly clear, politely, but abundantly clear that I wasn't going to put it away. But they have their ideas. what is right and whatever. And I just happen to have different ideas. And as I said, as long as I'm not harming anybody, as long as I'm not ruining my life, it's not like I'm on whatever doing something stupid. And I did say, and I thought, and I believed, accept me as I am. This is not something that you want to lose the farm over, because it's not harming anybody, and more than that, it's bringing me great joy. And so accept me as I am. I accept other people for their interests and their whatever hobbies and their whatever. So that did become part of the discussion growing up. And now in the 21st century, it's not even a second thought anymore. Like, occasionally I'll get somebody on my Twitter feed, and don't go to my Twitter feed. Do not go to my Twitter feed. But occasionally I'll make a cogent or salient point about whatever political things going on. And somebody, oh, the Lego kids, grow up and put your Lego away. Like, dude, it's the 21st century. Like, people who are in their 40s and 50s are getting paid a lot of money to play with Lego. I'm not, because I don't want it. That's right. But and more importantly, I would never be able to get it. But there are people who right now are in their 40s and 50s who are getting paid on Twitters and on Instagrams or TikToks. They're getting checks. They're what do you call those things? Influencers. They're getting free sats. Knock yourself out. So you disparaging my hobby because you don't like my political stance? What is this? Like, this is the 21st century, dude. Like, get over it. If you have a cogent point to refute my point, then bring that. Don't ad hominem. Look it up. My disparage my hobby because you think my point about whatever's wrong? No. Like, you have just removed yourself from the conversation, from a rational, logical conversation. So anyway, I'm not going to go into that political rant, but what I am saying is that I do accept everybody for who they are. At least I try to, and try to be as understanding and as empathetic as possible for whatever they're going through. And if they have some ideas of self-harm, I'm actually going to be wary of that, because self-harm's bad, straight up. So, I talked about that once. But overall, my life, because I've managed to get this far, I've made it past the half-century mark. So, while playing with this all the time. So it's not like, oh, I just picked it up like the Dark Ages, but I made it this far, and I guarantee you, I brought joy to people. I brought joy to me. So that's important. Bringing joy to yourself, happiness, and enjoying the actual hobby. And I've met wonderful, sincerely awesome and sweet and kind people from basically all walks of life and all manners of form and function. People who are just inspiring to me. World-class artists I've met in this hobby. I've met engineers, rocket scientists, who will remain nameless right now, and mechanical engineers. I can go into my whole history of RTL Toronto and how wonderful that was, hanging out with like-minded people who are from all walks of life. It's a blessing. This whole hobby, since I've been in it, even when I was a kid, it's a blessing. We used to go to my aunt's place, uncles and aunts' places, and play with my cousins and play Lego for the longest time, and the kids were happy. So, and then through my teens, and I said, soldering and doing stuff with my Commodore 64 and programming and blah, blah, blah. And then the RCX and blah, blah, blah. It all relates back and forth to one another. Like, this whole hobby has been integral of, not a foundational principle of my life by any stretch. Let's go more tangents until the battery dies on my phone. Not to say it's, like, if I wake up tomorrow and I'm done with this hobby, I will still be me. Straight up, I will still be me. I don't see it happening. Straight up. But I do say that this is not an obsession. Look at my room, but it's not an obsession. This is a hobby, and it's an interest. It's not just a mild interest. It's a passionate interest in this. But in the end, if it disappears tomorrow, highly doubtful, but if it disappears tomorrow and I go into something else, I am still going to be as like the nice guy that I like to think I am, because my fundamental nature is to be, I like to think, a good and decent human being first, whatever else is going on. And so I will, but I have no signs of and no ideas about giving up this hobby. As I say, I already made it past the half-century mark, so possibly, unless medical science changes, over half my life, playing with Lego without any dark ages. So I don't see it disappearing anytime soon. And as we are in the 21st century now, and everybody has seemed to put everything in the better perspective that I knew we would get to, and this is, again, I've talked about this before, I knew we were going to get here as a society. I saw it coming in the 70s when people and the adults were having collectibles and stuff like that. Before, in this, like, I'm not faulting them. I don't want to go into a huge history lesson, but our predecessors came out of 2 world wars and a Great Depression. They didn't have time. They didn't have the luxury. They didn't have the ability to have a hobby like this. Now that we do have the time and we have the space and the ability for adults to have something that they're passionate about, and they can partake in it after a 40-hour work week, they run with it, and I'm so happy that we can. So I'm not faulting previous generations for being so stoic and so put this away because you have to focus on your future and what's going to happen and blah blah blah. It was never presented to me as it's a kid's toy, you should just give it up because of that. It was always like, you have to look at a bigger picture, you know, get a job, get your good marks, get a job, get your house, get your mortgage, get all that stuff all out of the way before you can indulge yourself. I had a problem with that as a kid, and even in my teens and in my 20s, because I saw at the time people that I admired and looked up to, my peers' parents and stuff like that, passing away, some of them, before they got to 50. And like, it's sad when it happens before 50. My mom died at 69, which I think is way too young for when she passed away. But to put off the joy and fun and entertainment and hobbies until you get to the point where you're firmly established, work your ass off until you firmly work your 8 hours a week. No, I refused to do that in the 70s and the 80s. I worked. I'm still working. Whatever. I always had a job. I've never been unemployed. But I never put that idea above what I wanted to do in my spare time. And this was always my spare time. Not all my spare time, but this was always in my spare time, because I saw no harm in that, having this in my spare time. And other people who did back in the 70s have now changed their tune. Or the 80s, I should say. They have now changed their tune. They have seen me at shows. They have come to my shows. People who, I won't say disparaged, but were trying to convince me in my late teens and my 20s to put it away because it's a child's toy, or no, you're not focusing on what you should be focusing on. I always had a job. I always paid the bills. I always had money going into my RSP. It's like, what else do you want me to do? Like, I don't want to be a CEO. I'm not that guy. If you ever watched Family Guy with Nick Cage, some people are driven to be financially focused. I have cousins who are millionaires, absolutely, because they are driven since they're a kid to be that person. I applaud them. I love them and I appreciate them, and I want them to do the best. And I've helped them as I can with my lowly, life. Some people might put it, but never interested me. Money is just a way for me to get more Lego. Money is a way for me to be financially independent so I can have my hobbies and just, I don't want to work 80 hours a week. I'm not interested. I'm especially now, but even back when I was in my 20s, 9 to 5, done. See ya. Bye. As long as it's stable, and again, I've lost a few jobs, not because of that, because I'm a hard worker when I'm at the office, and every company I worked for said that. Every company I worked for said that. And the last time actually both times, I lost my big jobs of decades, almost decades. It was due to downsizing because the company got bought out, because that's what happens these days. And I had a job before I got home. Like, I'm, not to be arrogant about this, but I'm infinitely employable. So, and I'm not scared of work. I've caught chickens in my life. I've dug ditches. I've framed houses. I've run wires. I've poured cement. I've put down floors. I've framed. Did I mention framing? I framed houses. I've roofed houses. I've delivered flowers. Sure. Hey, it's a job. Gives me some money. I'm gonna be there. So I have no ego in what job I have. I think as long as you're working and doing it legally, from welder to doctor to whatever, it's a just job. I just been pushing a keyboard for the last 35 years. So, which, whatever, it is what it is. But in the end, I live with myself very well, straight up. I do. I think, not that I'm arrogant about it, but I think I'm pretty good. I think I'm a nice guy. I've made huge mistakes, and I try to amend those mistakes so they don't happen again, and I try to apologize for those mistakes so people know that I'm sincere. Because everybody's going to make mistakes. But I am not going to kill myself for a job. I've never quit a job, but I'm not going to kill myself for a job. So, and I'm going to have the life I want, because if your joy is in your job, that's fantastic. If your joy is not in your job, but outside of your job, and you're not getting anything to do the outside of your job, then you're gonna have a joyless life. Some people are passionate for their job, lawyers and whatever, they want to work 18 hours a day. I'm going to applaud you for that. That is what you want to do. I don't want to do that. So I don't think those people are above me, and I don't think they're below me. I think, again, we're walking in this direction. Yeah, I love this. I love this analogy. We are walking in this direction. I'm doing what I want to do. You are doing what you want to do. I'm going to support you. That's why I get back to this. I'm going to support you for who you are. If you are the person who wants to put in 18 hours a day for your work day, and I've met people like that, and you're passionate about that, perfect. That's not who I am. So if you need help with your 18 hours a day, well, I can help you. I'm going to help you. If you want to collect stamps, I'm going to help you, as I said with my Uncle John. If you need anything that I can give, ask me, because I am that kind of person. And so I don't usually get into conflict with people, because I accept them for who they are. As long as they're not doing damage or being negative towards anybody else. I have some of my best friends are workaholics, best friends. Some of my best friends are rocket scientists, right? Some of my friends have 2 PhDs, so I don't. But I get along with people because as I say, I'm genuinely interested in their lives and what they want to do with them, and how they want to conduct themselves, and I love them for it, and they love me for what I do. And nobody says, oh, because I'm not making $1.5 million a year, that I'm inferior. Nobody, because I will not put up. I will not put up with, because it's not correct at all. You can have your money. That's what you wanted. I have this Lego. That's what I wanted. So you're not above me and you're not below me. We are equal in what we're doing with our lives, because you're doing what you want to do and I'm doing what I do, because we're all gonna, and not to go into this morbid thought, but we're all gonna be in the ground at some point. And so you doing all the stuff you want to do until you get to that point, good on you. This is what I want to do until I get to that point. Anyway, this was supposed to be wrapped up. I went off far too many tangents. I just have this whole idea in my head right now. I seem to have a verbose way of explaining what's going on in my world right now, because I think also I am 55. My mom's been gone for a decade now. My dad is 82. Hoping that I believe sincerely that he's going to get past 90, because his dad passed away at 92. But mortality is on the mind, and of course the operation, which is nothing. they're taking this thing out of my finger like Dr. Pimple Popper does it on TV every week. So, but the mind tends to drift. So, but anyway, I put new lights under my cabinets here. So look at this, a light there and a light there. So it's got better lighting. I did that today. I cleaned the garage today. I am going to be building, now that you wasted all my time, I wasted all your time to get to this point. I am going to be building very, very soon the electrical boxes for the layout. They're going to be built out of wood, and I got some power bars over there, some PDUs, power distribution units, as we call them in the IT field. PDUs. I got short PDUs. I bought them from an electronics company, so it's not just a regular power bar, they're actually PDUs. Just